Welcome to my podcast, The Elegance of Souls. Theos is grounded in our journey being a cultural revelation as opposed to a religious one. It is tailored to help reveal to you a unique culture, to engage you and equip you with tools for your unique journey. In the highs and the lows, in the utterly amazing and the desperately ugly, Theos will, I hope, continuously connect you with that peace that comes from within and inspire with clarity for your journey.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new series here on The Elegance of Souls titled Pacesetters. We're going to be conversing with some extraordinary trendsetters over the course of this series in a variety of industries and learning how they not only set those high standards or goals for themselves, also how they care for themselves along that journey, because I personally think these two go hand in hand in defining who we become on the journey, especially given the fast-paced world we live in today. If you want to know more about the Pacesetter series, go ahead and listen to my solo episode titled Pacesetters on the Elegance of Soul podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of conversing with the lovely Tarnya Corley. Tarnya, hello and welcome to the conversation.
Hi, thank you for having me. Super excited.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick snippet into who we're speaking with. Tarnya Corley is a multi-award winning publisher. She has helped countless first-time authors from all over the globe find their voices and put their stories down on paper. As the author of 4 self-published books and 5 publications on Amazon, including the best-selling Planet, See It, Anticipate, she has received recognition from Les Brown, the godfather of motivation, including Best Female Focused Publisher 2022 and the SEMA Global Award for the Most Influential Woman in 2021. I'm really excited to be having this conversation with Tarnya today. And I think she's a brilliant example of someone who is setting pace and blazing new trails. Tarnya, once again, welcome to the conversation. Could you give us a little bit of background of how you started this journey of becoming a publisher?
Wow. I'll try and keep it short.
Yes.
My journey started when I was, it was 5 years ago. I established my business. But before then, just to give you some context around about who I am and what I do, I was a lecturer for 15 years and I loved what I did in education, helping people to get into the healthcare profession. And there came a point there when I was overwhelmed with the overwhelming work that I did, underpaid, and I just needed something new to do. And I thought, what's that going to look like? What's that going to be? I love helping people. I love making people's dreams come true. So in 2018, the 1st of January, I decided to going to put pen to paper and I wrote my first book called Open Doors. And my journey starts when my mom had me in the 70s. She was 16 and pregnant and told to leave home. But it doesn't end there. I share how your beginning doesn't have to be your end. She was the first person in her family to graduate university and become a social worker. And that's where my journey began. My mom instilled in me all these principles and morals. And then I had a wonderful career of 15 years. But in 2018, I handed in my notice. And that's when my journey began, becoming more of who I am and what I wanted to do. TC Publishing was birthed. And I went on this journey and became a coach, helping professional women get unstuck and live their purpose. And then writing my own books, publishing them, knowing that I can also help other people's dreams come true as well by helping them to write their books and to publish them as well.
Yeah, I remember some time ago when we had a conversation, actually you told me about leaving your full-time job, your daytime job to go ahead and become, a publisher, do your own thing because you felt that you were being called into that. And for me, I see that as really changing pace from something we're used to, obviously really settled in that way of life, and then being called to something new. And that involves a significant change in the pace of life and the way you do things. How did you adjust to all of that? How did you adjust?
Wow. Great question in how I adjusted to that. So it was fast paced, 15 years, working weekends, doing all of that marking, teaching, going to board meetings, doing all of that. And then the summer 2018, it all stopped. And I thought, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Because September, I would usually go back to work. However, I knew that wasn't going to be the case. So what was I going to do? So what I did, you mentioned it before, plan it, see it, anticipate it. I wrote down a plan of what I wanted to do, is become a coach. And then after that, I then put out a plan, how I'm going to do that, how am I going to get there? And then I knew that it was going to happen. And that's how I changed pace, is by having a strategic plan of what it is that I wanted to do.
When I was doing a bit of research around the series Pacesetters, I came across a leadership style, which is actually called pace-setting leadership, which was founded by a man called Daniel Goldman. To summarize the theory, it's basically the leader setting example for how they want their team to operate or how they want their organization to operate, which is basically do as I do now. And it's interesting when we see innovators and pace setters, trailblazers, even such as yourself, we admire what you do and we think it'd be lovely to do that. But no one really sees the hard work behind the scenes. They don't see the consistency required. They don't see the discipline, the late night that you put in to bring out that great design on the outside. What are some of the day-to-day things, more practical things that you do to help you set pace within your organization or your team?
That's another good question. So yes, my mantra is plan it, see, anticipate it. So much so that I wrote a book on it. And it is breaking it down because, for example, if it's something that you want to do, and that's the big vision that we have. We want, say, for example, you want to write a book. That's the big vision. And it then can become overwhelming because where am I going to start? What am I going to do? Who's going to help me? How can I structure it? I'm no good at English. And all these objections come to your mind. But when you have a plan, that's when it becomes a lot easier. And these are the practical things that I encourage my clients to do. And I'm encouraging those that are listening also to do, is have a plan. Where is your destination? What is it that you want to do? Where do you want to get to? And that's the overall vision. And then it's breaking it down. And we talk about SMART goals, having it specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And that's how we can then chunk it down. And that's what I talk about in my book. And it is about making those small steps. Okay, so what's the first thing that I need to do? Maybe you need to find yourself a book coach. And then when you found that book coach, what is it that you want to do? What book is it that you want to write? What's your message of what you want to write? Who is it for? And then for me, I help clients to write their book in 90 days. So that's another plan where we're going to meet fortnightly and we're going to talk about writing tips. We're going to talk about how to structure your book. So what it is, you're setting yourself little manageable goals that you can achieve, that you can tick off, and that's planning it. And then seeing it in your mind's eye. It's about visualization. Because when you visualize something, it gets you excited, it inspires you, and it motivates you. And then anticipating it, knowing at the end of this process, you're going to have a book in your hands. And that's what it's all about, knowing it's going to happen and getting excited about that, being motivated. And that's how I talk about pacing it, chunking it down, having those manageable goals, and finding an accountability partner. If your coach isn't your accountability partner, finding someone that's going to hold you to account so you know that your dreams will come true.
That is amazing, Tarnya. I love what you said about breaking it down into chunks. And I think that is one place we often fall down, is that sometimes you have some really big dreams, but we fail to scale it down into the more measurable, day-to-day, moment-to-moment visions. My little boy has been given a book to read from school, and it's a big book. He likes to read, and he's had the book for a while. I'm saying, we're not really making any move on this book because he keeps on using the phrase, it's such a big book, Mom, it's got so many words inside. And I'm like, okay, how about we pick a number of pages you want to do every day, and I'm sure we'll get a lot further by the end of the month than if we just stand looking at the book thinking it's such a big book. And it's something as simple as that, Tarnya. So I think that's a really brilliant example. And again, what she said about having an accountability partner, I think we take that for granted a lot. I remember, because I've just published my first book as well, and one of the things that actually helped me get over this line was the fact that I had a mentor, someone who was, right, what next? This is the next thing you have it all, it's all sitting there, but you need someone to constantly probe you and get you on to the next step. So that accountable partner, as you said, is also really important. Even after we've seen it all, visualized it in our minds, there are some little things we can put in place to help us really get going on the race that is ahead of us. So some really brilliant examples. Thank you for sharing those. Now that you are in the publishing space, obviously having come over from, teaching or lecturing, what do you think you are doing that is new in the publishing space? And like any other industry, the publishing space will be evolving in the way things are done. What are those new things that you're incorporating, I guess, into your organization? And how do you see that affecting the kind of woman that you're becoming? Already, you've achieved so much, Tarnya, so much to be proud of. But I'm just wondering, when you look towards more the future, who do you see yourself becoming within this industry, given the changes?
Well, that's a big question right there. Well, so for me and my publishing company, I was discussing this with my husband yesterday about the future and what does that look like. And for me, it's all about my clients. I'm the vehicle to get you to where you want to get to. I'm the vehicle to help you to find your voice and to pen your book, whether it's you're a coach and you want to write your expertise and your knowledge, whether it's your story and an aspect of your story that's going to give people hope. I'm a vehicle to help you to pen it down onto paper and then to publish it. But for me, it doesn't just stop there. I'm championing my clients to do more. Yes, you've written the book, which I think is fantastic, because many people have goals and dreams, but yet that's where it stops. And it's really important to, you have to go the extra mile. You got to go the extra push. And like you talked about, it's about being consistent and having that discipline. And I help my clients to do that. And then at the end of it, what's next? And I have this big thing about what's next. You've written the book, but what's next for you? What platform do you want to build in order to share your message from your book that you have? And that's the thing that I'm really focusing on, is helping people to find their voice and to share it on a platform. And that platform can come in many forms, whether it's like this, that you've got this fantastic platform of Pacesetter series. I love that name. Or you want to go in person and do things on stages. You want to go into schools, because what you're doing, your words are going to outlive you once you put it in a book. And then you're extending and you're spreading that message in different formats. So that's what I want to focus on in the future, is making sure that this message that you have doesn't just stay in the book, but it goes far and wide in many different ways.
That is so good. It's almost like thinking about the legacy, isn't it? And you're right. Books, words, they stay with us for ages. You've talked a lot about how you want the work you're doing in your industry to impact your clients. I want to know how it's impacting you as an individual. And I think my audience is about the woman that you are becoming. Yes, because for me, it's part of the heart of the Elegance of Souls is that we want to appreciate the journey that we're going on, the fact that it is evolving. We keep growing. We are never stagnant as long as we're opened up to new experiences, to new adventures. We keep growing. So as much as you have achieved, there's still a lot more I know that you can do, and I know you want to do, Tarnya. So who do you see yourself becoming from all of this?
Well, I was doing some reflection, as you know you do at certain parts of the year, is reflecting on who I am becoming. And I've been reflecting on my goals. What have I achieved this year? What things would I change? What have I learned from that? And that's me becoming the person that I want. It's making sure that my business is in alignment with my core values in what I believe and what I do. And it's making sure that as I'm growing and developing, helping my clients, I'm also developing as an individual. Personal development is a very big thing for me. It's making sure that I'm in alignment, that I'm not going off key, making sure I bring it back. If I have drifted, staying humble, which is a big thing for me, making sure that I have empathy for others, making sure that I continue to be patient with people, understanding individuals, and making sure that I don't sway to the left or to the right, but making sure I know who I am and being understanding in that.
Yeah, I think that's really good. It's funny, you mentioned all those nuggets, actually, patience, humility. And I think oftentimes we chase after the goal, forgetting that actually getting to the goal requires certain things along the way, some of which you have highlighted, like humility and patience, because it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse, where we're trying to get somewhere, but we need to put the horse first, which is really putting these things, these aspects of our inner being into ourselves, because that helps to stabilize the structure or whatever it is we're building. So I think, that's really powerful, Tarnya, because all those things really do make up the person that you're becoming at the end of the day. Yeah. And if you're consistent in those things, the building will hold. It will stand up. It will not fall. Yes, that's amazing. So, okay. So I just want to know, obviously, I'm sure you've worked with so many amazing authors and you've been mentored by some really inspiring people as well. Along your journey, who are those who have inspired you the most, I guess, in setting your pace and just cultivating your journey?
There have been many great people that have impacted my life, and some people, different seasons or parts of my life, I've had different mentors along the way. So as I was evolving and becoming a better person, I hired Les Brown. He was my coach during the lockdown, and he was helping me to make my voice to have a greater impact in the world, becoming that better person in how do I craft my message in an impactful way that it's inspiring and motivational for others. But the best thing is when people take action, because action changes things. So Les Brown was very instrumental in that during the lockdown. Everything was shut down. What do we do? So personal development, why not? So I hired him, and he was amazing. And also he endorsed my book, Plan It, See It, Anticipate It. So he was instrumental. And then I had John Tellerico, and that was all about mindset. And that was a 6-month coaching on our minds, because it's 95% mindset. Because sometimes we think, I can't do this and I can't do that. It's because we're getting in our own way. And the bottom line for me, I think it's fear. And it's that false evidence appearing real. So going on this Thinking into Results, which is a Bob Proctor program, is breaking down some of those limiting beliefs and looking at how can we counteract those things when they come. So that was great as well. And then Lisa Chi, who's still my mentor, and helping me to see things that I can't see. That's what a coach does. You can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So Lisa Chi has been instrumental and still has. From the very beginning in 2018, she was on my journey, helping me to become and evolve. And she's still coaching me today and mentoring me in evolving the business and making sure I stay true to who I am. So those people, and there's more people But those are the three that I will mention.
Okay. No, but that's really inspiring to hear as well, why they inspire you, not just, name dropping, but it's really good because I think it's important for our viewers to have someone that they aspire to, not just something, but someone as well that inspires them. And the other thing we want, with pace setting, obviously it's not just about the goals, the things that we're trying to achieve, the goals we're trying to achieve. It's also about, how we're caring for ourselves along the journey. So maybe this is the section where you tell us what your midnight routine is before you go to bed. How do you calm yourself down after a really stressful day? Or a day of practicing patience and humility? How do you let off the steam?
Oh my goodness. Yesterday I was talking to my husband and I said, my mind is racing, like so many ideas and so many things that I want to do, but I want to calm down. I want to go to bed in a minute. And it really is important that you mentioned that. Self-care is so important, because oftentimes, if you're like me, you go to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. I'm like, okay, that's done. Let's go. But it's great to stop and to pause. And you've got to know yourself when you start to feel that things start to become overwhelming, or you can't fit the things that you want to do in. And I say to my clients, what are those 3 top priorities for your day?
Yeah.
Prioritizing that, but then making sure you're prioritizing your self-care. And that looks like that for different people. For me personally, like you said, I have a hectic schedule. How do I then look after me? And I love going out and going for like a drink, like a hot chocolate, and just winding down. I love that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that this week with my husband. He's off work now and for a little bit of a break, and just going out and just winding down. And we don't talk about work. It's forbidden.
Yep, absolutely.
If we do, we have to do just for a little bit, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to talk about things, and then we're not allowed to talk about the children. We have 2 children. My son's 17 and my daughter's 21. We're not allowed to talk about the children.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about ourselves. And I like that, who we're becoming. Because it's good to reflect. So I like to do that. I like to read.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Oh.
Yes, I like to read and just unwind. I like to go for walks. I went for a walk this morning. I like to walk in nature, and I do that every single day. And just reflecting on who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm going. Those are the things that I like to do. And I make sure that it's non-negotiable. That's really important. That these things that you want to do, looking after yourself, whatever that looks like for you, and prioritizing it, making sure these things are non-negotiable, that I will do that, because you do need to recharge. I'm a very action-orientated person. I am always on the go. And then when
you do have to find that balance with your personality type, isn't it, as well? Because there's some personalities that are more prone to be very chilled out as well. But if you're the type that's like go, you really do need to find that routine that gets you centered on just taking care of yourself. And like you said, you have to ring fence that time and say, this is for taking care of me. You mentioned something about liking to read. I was just keen to know what books you're reading now, Tarnya, if you want to share.
I haven't got it here with me. I'm reading currently Life on Fire. I'm keeping that fire burning.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And who's the author of that book, Life on Fire?
The author of that book is James Aladirin. Okay. And it's a powerful book. And it just helps. I'm that type of person. I just need to keep that fire burning. I need to keep myself centered and making, so I love to read those types of books. Books about purpose, goal setting, how to stay grounded, and sometimes we often, like you said, chasing these things. It's not about chasing those things. It's about who you are becoming in the process of getting to where you want to get to. I say to my clients that, yes, it's the book that you want to publish, you want to write it, but who are you becoming in this process of writing your book? Who are you becoming? And it's about the journey.
Yes.
Yes, you want the end product, but it's about the journey. And that's really important.
Yeah, and you want to be true to the words that you're writing in the book, isn't it? So it's very important to sense check that. And we are coming, to the end of our session, Tarnya, but I just wanted to know if you've got any last minute tips or bits you want to share with the audience about, setting pace and taking good care of themselves on their journey. Now's the time to share.
Okay, so it all begins and ends with your mind. What you give power to has the power over you if you allow it. And that's what Leon Brown said. So like I mentioned, it's about 95% mindset. So whatever goals that you want to achieve, don't think, I won't be able to achieve it, I can't do that. That's your mindset. My mantra: plan it, see it, anticipate it. Have a plan as to where it is that you want to go. It's like you're going on a journey. You're going to plan that journey ahead. And then what is it that I need to put in place? What things do I need to set aside and put away? What things do I need to take up? These good habits that are going to help me along the journey. And then see it. See in your mind's eye that you've already achieved it. See yourself doing that thing, which is so important. And then anticipate it. Know that you are going to achieve it because you have a strategic plan. You've got your vision. And we, sometimes we do vision boards and we put, pictures of what we want to see on our board. But it's about taking that action, because action changes things, and prioritizing your self-care. Whatever that looks like for you. Doesn't have to be some grandeur. It can go for a walk, turning off your notifications and just sitting in silence, journaling, whatever that looks like for you. Prioritize you, because you need to recharge so you can give back to others, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely. Fantastic way to close off the conversation. Tarnya, it's been amazing chatting with you, and I suspect that you could be coming back again soon if you had as much fun as I did. And I hope you did.
Thank you, I did.
And I'm sure the audience is really, rewarded from this conversation. If you want to purchase Tarnya's book, Plan It, See It, Anticipate, it is on Amazon now. And obviously you can reach out to Tarnya. And Tarnya, do you want to drop your handle?
Yeah, so if you want to get in touch with me on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, it's Tarnya, Tarnya, Corley, Coley, and you can find me on those platforms.
Fantastic. Tarnya, it's been wonderful. Thank you again.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Theos today. Please remember to follow me on Podbean or Spotify. Go to the comment section and leave a comment. I love to hear from you on how my podcast is impacting your unique journey. It's always amazing to hear from you. Till next time, remember, you are flawless.